Hi, I'm Joe Peoples with Reinhart Realtors and Workman Success Systems. Hey, great to see you today. And the conversation I'd like to have, or the topic I'd like to discuss, is how to win in a changing market. And there's a book I read a couple months ago by a really good friend of mine, my buddy Jeff. He said, Joe, you've got to read this book. And the title of the book is Seeing What Others Don't. And there's a story in there that just came to my mind that I had to share with you. As a brokerage, we're looking at what we expect to happen in 2023. As a business coach, I talk to many people about what they're thinking about or what they're dealing with or what their expectations are around the changing market. And so this story I want to share with you, taken from this book, just stands out. And the story is about, I wrote his name down, this guy named Wagner Dodge. Wagner Dodge was a parachute drop-in guy for forest fires. Now, if you want all the details on the story, they're in the book, but I'm going to give you my version. So Wagner Dodge was a forest fighter. And in August of 1949, they were fighting a forest fire in a place called Man Gulch. And the short and skinny of it is this. They're paratrooped in to fight the fire. They're just doing what you would do as a parachute forest fighter guy, right? You're working on the fire on the backside, the downwind. Unfortunately, what happened was some embers from that fire blew around and landed in their path. And so what happened next was this fire takes off and starts to grow. And Wagner Dodge said to his team, "We gotta go." So they took off running in the opposite direction of the fire. Now, what happens is they're running uphill, and as the fire starts to grow, it's consuming more of the material in front of them. And as Wagner Dodge is running up this hill, he recognizes that the grasses that they're running through is the exact thing that is fueling the fire. And when he looks behind him, he can see that the fire is catching up with them. And he realizes there is no way they're going to make it to the top of this hill before the fire catches them. And in a flash, he makes a decision to set fire to the grass around him and then lay down and wait for the fire to pass. And this story comes from a chapter, what do they call it? Creative Desperation. And he goes into a long story about what was it that allowed Wagner Dodge to come up with this idea in that exact moment. And what I like to say is Wagner Dodge leaned into what I would call a success formula. The success formula is really about your knowledge, skills, and action all being applied to the environment that you're in. There was no instruction on, in case the fire is eating the grass as you run up the hill, set fire and do it. There's no instruction. But what he did is he just tapped into his skill. Now, as a business coach, what does a business coach help you do? A business coach is to help you identify those gaps in your knowledge, your skill, and your actions so that you can have the results you're looking for. Wagner Dodge was able to survive a horrific fire. And unfortunately, of the 12 men that he jumped in with, he and only 2 other men survived. And I like to see you all win in 2023. And the way you'll do it is by focusing on your skill, focusing on your ability and your knowledge so that and your actions so you get the results you're looking for. Now, each time I do one of these videos, I always talk about this assessment. And the importance of an assessment is for you to identify gaps, because the last thing you want to do is have a gap in your skill, your actions, or your knowledge when you need them so that you could survive. So to thrive in 2023, take the assessment, lean into your skills, discover your gaps, and find someone to work with so that you can get what you like out of this year. I've waited a long time for a market transition like this. And one of the things that I realize is that the people who succeed just don't quit. And the people who succeed leverage the resources around them. If you want what you're looking for in 2023, be like Wagner Dodge. Leverage your skill and training and create the opportunity so you can survive and thrive in 2023. And as always, I'll have a link below that you can take that assessment so you can see where you determine where the gaps are. And if you'd like to just have a one-on-one conversation, feel free to email me. Until then, you guys have a great day, and I wish you the best in 2023.